Hi, this is Suhem Parack, developer advocate at Twitter. In a previous video, we did an overview of the new Twitter API and discussed the new endpoints and features. In this video, let's take a look at the new tweet payload that is part of the new Twitter API. If you have used the 1.1 of our API, then you may be familiar with a tweet payload that looks something like this. Our new API gives you greater control over the fields that you want included in the return tweet payload. When requesting tweets using the new endpoints, only the tweet ID and text are returned. Any additional fields can be requested using expansions and fields. In this example, if I also want the context annotations, the language, the author ID to be included in the response, I can use the tweet fields parameter and specify these fields that I want returned. Similarly, if I want the user information about a tweet to be returned as well, then I can use the author ID expansion and specify the fields I want returned for the user object. Now let us compare and contrast an example of the old tweet payload and the new tweet payload when fully hydrated for a given tweet ID. On my left here is the old tweet payload, and on the right is the new one. First, we notice that in the old tweet payload, there is a single object which contains all the information about the tweet, the user, etc. Whereas the new payload consists of two objects, data and includes. The data contains the information about the tweet. Any additional information about the user, polls, media, etc. that is requested using expansions is part of the includes object. Now let us look at some differences between the two payloads. The old payload contains an ID and ID_str field representing the ID of the tweet. However, the new payload contains just the ID field, which is a string. Next, if you notice, the old payload contains the truncated field, and the text field doesn't include the full text of the tweet. If you've used the 1.1 of our API before, you may recall using the tweet mode parameter and setting it to extended to get the full text of the tweet. With the new API, you do not need to use this parameter, and the text field will return the full text for tweets with more than 140 characters as well. If we compare the entities object, the new payload includes the unwound URL for the link shared in the tweet, along with the title, description, status for the link page. Public metrics about a tweet are nested in the public metrics object in the new payload. Favorite count is renamed to like count, and the quote count, which is the number of times the tweet was quoted, and the reply count are also included in the new payload. The new payload also contains the context annotations that provide contextual information about a tweet, which is not present in the old payload. Looking at the user object, in the new payload, you will have to use the author ID in order to map to the user object. In the old tweet payload, you can see that the metrics about the user are listed as individual fields for the user object, whereas in the new payload, those are part of the public metrics for the user object. If there is a tweet with a Twitter poll and you want to get the data about that poll, you can use the attachments.pollids expansion and specify the fields you want returned with the poll fields parameter. This will give you information about the Twitter poll. Another difference between the old and new tweet payloads is the payload structure for tweets that are in reply to another tweet. The old tweet payload does not include the full text object for the original tweet in reply to which this tweet was posted. So if you wanted to get the tweet information for both the tweet and the tweet in reply to it, you had to make another API call using the in reply to status ID. With the new tweet payload, you can request the original tweet and the reply with one single call using the reference tweets ID expansions. Both the tweets will be part of the return tweet payload. So I hope you now have a good understanding of the new tweet payload. We will continue to make more videos like this one and explain the new endpoints and features that are part of the new Twitter API. Don't forget to check out our product roadmap to see what's coming next. Thanks for watching this video. Follow us on Twitter Dev and on the Twitter community forums.